Hello. So it's Thursday, one more day in the week before I take a break for the weekend. I realized with all of my talking and all the chaos of yesterday's video, I failed to say how I did with my actual workout. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. So yesterday was shoulder press, and I completed that. And I got 6 sets of 10 with the 5 pound weight, which means that I did one set better than the week before, which is really exciting. Funny enough, from doing my squats earlier in the week, my legs are still really sore, but my shoulders aren't doing too bad. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Sometimes the soreness is delayed an extra day. I don't know if that's just because I'm working out in the evening, so it's like pushback rather than working out in the morning. You'll feel it right away in the morning, but regardless, I don't know. And and then today I did my crunches and I did 7 sets of 10, which means that again I got one more set than I did last week. So that's been going really good. I'm gonna be real honest. I'm extremely tired right now. I feel like I say that a lot, but I am, bruh. I feel like I say that a lot, but I am. I was running all over today at work, so I need to get a pedometer or something so that I can track how many steps I do at work because it's a lot. um, so yeah, um, yeah. So I'm slowly and steadily improving. Um, I'm feeling really, really good about that. I feel like I'm getting somewhere with my strength getting better, even if, you know, it's it's the whole thing of what I was saying before of just like, out in the world you can have, a million problems, but at least this is going right. Um and that's kind of how it feels right now. Like out in the world I have a million problems, but at least I have this thing going right for me so far. Where week over week I'm getting stronger, I'm able to do more, I'm able to push myself a little bit farther. um, and I have the numbers to prove it. Like I'm getting one more set, I'm bringing the weight up. With squats I'm bringing the weight up, with everything else I'm bringing the sets up or the number in each set up. um, so I'm very excited about that. I'm feeling very good about that. um, Eating has actually been pretty good. Like I said before, I went on paleo, and I might keep that. I went on paleo for Lent. Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. I'm I'm paleo for Lent, but it might be something that I keep up after Lent. Just because like I'm noticing that I feel a lot better, just like physically speaking. Um, there's a difference between like being tired because you're just like emotionally exhausted, or like you just had a really long day and so you're tired, and being tired because you put a lot of like gross food in your body. And so like I'm feeling that I'm not tired because I put a bunch of gross food in my body, which is really nice. um I don't feel as like sluggish or as bloated or anything, and I don't feel as guilty about like eating foods as I did before, which again, it's gonna happen eventually. Like I'm kind of dreading that moment. Like I'm kind of um in my headspace, I'm kind of dreading the moment when I'm like, when that will happen and how it's gonna affect me. And I'm sure I'll have some things to say about it when it does happen. But so far things are going good. Um, but for the time being, like it's working really well. I'm feeling really good about it. It's kind of forcing me to get a little creative with some of my cooking, because a lot of my cooking before was a lot of like it was just a lot of like pasta and junk food, or I'd order out. Um, but now, like, it's not that I can't go out and eat. Like, there are options out there. I just have to get creative with how I order things. Because where I live, um, it's very common to have like butter and cheese and that sort of thing on a lot of foods. Like, a lot of dairy is very prevalent. And with paleo, you can't have um, like processed dairy food. So like cheese, yogurt, butter, whipped cream, cream cheese, anything like that. It's just not part of the diet. Uh, so for the time being, I'm just kind of gonna keep going with that. And I think after Lent, I'll keep with it and just abide by like the 80-20 rule, which is basically like 80% of the time you keep really, really strict to your plans, like your dieting and all that kind of stuff. And then 20% of the time you just kind of do whatever. Like you don't, for people who like track calories and, you know, like track their carb intake and all, and like their macros and all that kind of stuff, like 80% of the time you're just like really, really strict on your calorie intake and all that kind of stuff, and then 20% of the time you just don't bother. I'm not counting calories because I've done that before, and it gets like it's another way that I like guilt myself if I go over a certain calorie count. So I'm not counting my calories right now. But um, not eating any kind of like processed dairy, no processed foods, so no, and no like complex grains and all that kind of stuff. So no bread, no sugar, no pasta, and it's funny because it is easier this time than I think it's been in the past, because I'm not just sitting here going like, "Oh, I'm not allowed to have these things." I'm like, I don't know what the shift was this time, but for whatever reason this time, like, it's not as hard to say no to pasta specifically, but pasta, bread, um, and that sort of thing. And I think it might be because like I'm actively trying to fill my diet now with like other foods that are that are filling, but are better for me. So like I've been making shakshuka. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. For my lunches at work. So just like made a big pot of it, which is it's literally just like vegetables. It's like red peppers, tomatoes, onions, and then you poach eggs in it. And I have also had it with some chicken. I know it's not like the recipes that I've seen, it's not traditionally served with chicken, but I needed some more protein, so I just cooked up some chicken and add that to it. And that's been really, really good. Um, yeah, the thing that I miss most, like genuinely, the food that I miss most and that has been hardest for me not to, um, like reach for when I'm stressed is ice cream. Which sounds so like when you say it out loud, it sounds almost childish to me. Like I don't always, but sometimes I'll watch My 600 Pound Life, and like you hear sometimes people will like make excuses. Uh, the one that comes to mind is somebody just saying like, "Oh, I just really love chocolate," and Dr. Now is just like, "So chocolate's more important than living." Like it's like just like a smack in the face. But that's kind of how I feel when I like when I'm really, really craving something, when it's like when it comes to like the stress eating and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, I just really want some ice cream, or like specifically frozen custard. Like I just, if I could have some frozen custard, that's gonna make everything better. Or like, I'm really stressed. I, like, or like I just couldn't control myself from eating ice cream, and it's like that sounds like something a 5-year-old would say. Like in my head to myself, that's what it sounds like of just like, no, I just want ice cream. And I think that's it, it's one of those things that like definitely is a reality check, but also really makes me feel bad afterwards. Like it's a reality check because it's just like, bro, you don't need ice cream to solve your problems. Like, if you have a medical bill that came in, ice cream is, especially buying ice cream, is not going to solve the fact that you're stressed about the fact that you can't pay a medical bill, or that the medical bill is really high and so is like very close to not being able to be paid. Um, so it's like the reality of that like sets in, but then also if I do if I do like give in and uh like eat the ice cream or whatever, I'm just like, well, that was dumb. That was literally just like 5-year-old brain me going, I'm sad, I'm gonna eat ice cream. um so I think that's been a good like deterrent for me from doing that, like from just stress eating ice cream. Not gonna lie, I really miss it though. When Lent is over, I might take my 20% to to have some. But the big thing when Lent is over is that I'm gonna have to learn how to do a lot of things in moderation. So if I'm gonna stick to the 80-20 rule, that means that my 20% of the time I need to not like go off the deep end. Because I did the math, and if like one day a week is my 20%, it's actually a little less than 15%. So it's even better than the 80-20. It's the 85-15. But even so, it's like I just need to be careful not to go. I think one of the hardest things when you break from a diet, or when you slip up on a diet, is that because you've restricted yourself from something for so long, you kind of turn around and on the other side of it, you just gorge yourself. Like you just absolutely go to town and eat everything in sight. And especially like you binge out on the foods you weren't allowed to have before. Um, it's I know I have these long pauses, and I'm so sorry. It's because like I'm processing and I'm trying to figure out how I want to say things, or like put my thoughts into words. I'm definitely trying to like prepare my brain for when Lent is over, to kind of like shift into turning this into more of like a regular everyday lifestyle thing. The food part, I mean, the workout part is already being built into my lifestyle, but the food part, because I know the first time that I like go out to eat with friends and have like pasta, or I, you know, grab ice cream, or I drink soda, feel I'm probably going to feel really guilty, and I need to figure out how to not like spiral that into turning around and binge eating again, to like assuage the guilt that is just gonna keep spiraling, because then I'll feel worse for eating those things more. Um, and I think just being like really conscious of like where I'm coming from with that, because again, like I kind of had that realization of the fact that so much of it has to do with my own sense of control. Um, so I think as long as I'm really conscious of that, it'll kind of help me work through that a little bit better. So we will see. We'll see how that goes. Oh, and I'm gonna weigh myself on Saturday, um, just to see where I'm at. So in 2 days, I'm gonna weigh myself just because I kind of want to see where I'm at. I went to the doctor's, so just to be like super transparent, I had gotten up to 238, which is very close to the heaviest I've ever been. The heaviest I've ever been was just over 240. It was like 240 point something. Um, and so like when I saw that 238, I was horrified. Because that scared me. Because I promised myself when I saw 240 that I was never going to be that weight again. Um, so yeah, I got back up to 238, and that was just, I think, just before I started working out again, maybe like a week or two before. And then when I went to the doctors, I was 233 point something. I want to say 233.2 or 3, something like that. But regardless, 233. So it's 5 pounds. And I'm kind of curious just to see where I'm at, you know, a week later, just to kind of see if I'm continuing that downward trend, even if it's just, you know, by half a pound or something. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm very curious because I don't feel like I look any different at this point. And I've only been doing this for like 3 weeks, so I'm not expecting like big drops. So to see that I lost 5 pounds was actually really, really interesting, and really exciting. Um, yeah, because at this point I don't have like any weight goals. I'm just trying to like live healthier, build healthier habits. I don't have any like set weight goals in mind. I'm just kind of curious to see where I'm at. So yeah, yeah, I will probably update you guys tomorrow. Oh, also the power went out more times after the video ended. I think it went out a total of like 6 times before I finally went to bed. Um, where it would just turn off for a few seconds and then turn back on. Yeah, it was quite the storm yesterday. So, but I'm fine. Everything's fine. Roads are clear. Um, yeah, things like nothing went super wrong. It's actually pretty common to have that kind of stuff happen where I'm from. So, all right, I will probably see you guys tomorrow. All if everything goes well. Um, but yeah, take care. I love you. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourself.